The emphasis of the project is on the relationship between body and technology and the history of medicine. The devices here are a result of my reflections on the body and technology from the perspective of history of official and alternative medicine. Anthropomorphic agents, in this case objects A and B, through which research takes place, are inspired by the long history of animism as projections of consciousness into nature and mythology, particularly Greek mythology, and are related to medicine and Taoism, as well as modern artificial intelligence agents. As I explore and analyze the past, the present, and the potential future, I'm also thinking about the state of things and postulating or proposing and imagining possible scenarios for the future. Ancient history is part of this relationship between the body and medical technology, although it now sits at the core of modern science, inhabited and intertwined with the mythological and magical attributes of plants and minerals, inter alia, perpetually relevant through their hallucinogenic and mitigating effects. Modern rejuvenation practices include extreme forms of nutrition and the use of large amounts of dietary supplements and sports activities in order to achieve and maintain excellent mental and physical fitness. Medical interventions include both cosmetic corrections of the body as well as systemic interventions, which, at least for most of us, are in the domain of futurism, where part of the world is pursuing the treatment of disease via stem cells and genes, the application of nanotechnologies, the cultivation of substitute organs, and the development of new kinds of medicines, including novel applications of already known remedies and substances. Above all lies the possibility of cryobody preservation, supplemented by speculation on the possibility of an individual's consciousness persisting in virtual worlds. Regarding the notion of elixir, I would like to say that elixir within this project serves as a metaphor, a multifunctional technological amalgam of something that is yet to become, of an yet unrealized potential. Elixir distillers were here inspired by ancient history where mythology and medicine were closely tied together, the history of patented medicine and the current state of things. Nowadays there is a revival of animistic and magical thinking related to recreation and healthcare in popular culture, especially like with the examples. We have examples of homeopathy or acupuncture becoming part of the official healthcare. And supplement market is blooming better than ever, and many traditional physical exercise systems are gaining in popularity. Also, internet is flooded with do-it-yourself recipes, medical advices, and methods of herbal extractions. In the distant past, the ritual of meditating about health and acquiring or making the medicine was the part of the healing process. Good examples are temples dedicated to Asclepius with special healing rites, among which one including bringing body parts from clay and meditating upon them into the temple. On the other hand, there is a constant feeling that we are at the brink of a major breakthrough in regenerative medicine regarding potential gene therapy treatments, stem cells therapies that I already mentioned, experimental treatments and organ replacements, and very few might already have access to these. This will be limited to a small number of people. As science fiction author William Gibson once said, the future is already here, it's just not very evenly distributed yet. Regarding the exhibition as a whole, I would like to say that this is a set of installations that deal with the construction of technological other, again using various anthropomorphic and abstract agents, from ancient mythological creatures to agents that enable us to stimulate intelligence in virtual domains. These emergent creatures cycle across real utopian and dystopian realms. The works examine various roles of technological agents ranging from Taoist Immortals to Telesphorous and similar entities from Greek mythology, to automatons, avatars, and robots, all the way to contemporary artificial intelligence creations, through which we attempt to imitate characteristics of human consciousness. Conceptual objects A and B appearing in the project are inspired by the history of anthropomorphization and are, as theoretician Sherry Turkle would say, objects to think with. Object A represents our striving towards the creation of a synthetic being, while object B stands for the human being in this transition, robomorphic being, a cyborg becoming a thing. And interesting is the thing is that throughout history, the quest for both a philosophical or spiritual or actual elixir of life motivated and brought about countless experiments and works in proto-scientific context in philosophy, religion, and mythology. Again, regarding the notion of elixir itself, I would like to add that the mentioning of elixir immediately echoes the a mythical origin of the word itself. It originally derived from the 7th century Arabic name for miracle. It is always a rich metaphor that re-emerges throughout world religions, mythologies, popular culture, or even fairy tales. Throughout history, whether placed within plant or mineral matter, or tied to a physical origin in a tree or a well, for example, there have been many instances of the quest for the ultimate medical elixir or panacea. For example, there have been many instances of the quest for the ultimate medical elixir. From various forms of elixirs that were prepared by monks deep within numerous monasteries and royal apothecaries in China that housed various nearly inaccessible herbal, mineral, and animal components to teriac, originally formulated by the Greeks in the 1st century AD, whose recipe changed over time and included dozens of steeped elements. Other such historical potions range from tar water, water of anise, mithridatium, blue mass, oxymel, or Jerusalem elixir made of palm wine, for example, aloe vera gel, and hemp, just to name a few, of which many included the practice of collecting the water from heaven, to put it in quotes, to be used as a medium for delivery of the elixir pill or the preparation. The quest for healing ranges from realistic to mythological, and One of the most important features in the Taoist worldview is the belief in physical immortality. The development of an elixir pill in Taoistic practices has matured through the ages, from preparation of various medicaments back to the internal development of spiritual and physical practices and a conduct of human life called Neda. This is believed to offer the open-ended system for supreme development of the spiritual and physical body. The human body becomes a furnace through which one works on internal cultivation and produces its own internal pills or spiritual elixir. Depending on the dosage, the elixir or medicament has frequently oscillated between poison and remedy. And another approach that appears in homeopathy and similar proto-science phenomena, which extend to some instances of contemporary science, is the usage of the method of treating a disease with the very substance that was believed to have provoked it. The contemporary research, life extension, and biohacking scene is nowadays burgeoning, with new treatments, drugs, and food supplements being invented on a daily basis through the help of the latest technologies. Regarding the subject of gardens, here I employ various forms of anthropomorphic agents in order to explore the relationship between body, mind, and technology. Within this particular installation garden of the elixir pill, and some elements of garden appear also in elixir machine, the agents are placed within the setting of a symbolical garden, where they serve as our negotiators within this philosophically poetical rethinking of the current technological roles of such agents. The gardens of China, for example, were always built with multiple intentions of providing sanctuaries, segmented sceneries meant to be developed during meditative walks, and creations of significant spots for observation of minute details. Representing the crossroads of nature and culture, they explore the natural world and strive to provide us with the framework for deepening our placement and role in the universe according to the Taoist principles of basic elements, laws of never-ending change, energy circulation, and phases of life. Whether within the parks, floating islands, forests, or mountain palaces within clouds, quest for the utopian paradise and home of the immortals all seem to represent a constant ideal of the philosophical quest for wisdom and conduct of healthy life. Careful placement of elements involves relations of rocks to water, islands, bridges, and plants that are cultivated natural models holding many poetic stories involving immortal fruits, elixirs, or the simple enjoyment of ephemeral and recurring events. This particular installation takes the idea of such a garden as a model of various cosmogonic metaphors and stretches this idea to include agents of artificial intelligence as actors within them. Eastern philosophies and popular beliefs do allow for such thinking to occur, as it is being reflected in, for example, understanding robots as creatures who have souls. And just to add about a few words about my recurring theme of randomness, algorithms of randomness function as structural rhythms of the world and are often reproduced and used as seed rhythm in building virtual environments. Here Tao Te Ching is the essential Taoist text attributed to the legendary thinker Lao Tse, whose origin is still unresolved, and there are three main stories that supposedly define who this mythical person was, signifying the movement from the creation of the external elixir pill towards the internal rethinking and meditation in Chinese philosophy and proto-science. The textbook was, throughout the history, used as the scaffolding in the search for meaning, simplicity, beauty, mindfulness, and truth. Within the installation, by recombining this essential material into the conversation of the three instances of the virtual mind, we face the segments and new structures from this text, regenerated through the usage of the Markov chain algorithm.